instant camaraderie as someone new here? Has it felt welcoming and connecting with new guys?
Yeah, definitely. Going back to FanFest, it seemed like there was a good group cohesiveness going on already. I didn't want to come in and be boisterous in any way, so I just kind of felt like I was able to fit in, slide right in. Guys were very welcoming from the jump. I had a good group of guys reach out right after the trade went through, so I think we got off on the right foot and, just proceeded accordingly.
What's been the biggest change, joining a new organization for the first time?
Getting to know names, that's probably the toughest part. Other than that, just playing ball.
Garrett, obviously last year you had a plan with Chris Getz and Katz and those guys heading into the whole new world of starting. How different does it feel now compared to a year ago?
I feel like I just have a better understanding of what I need to do. Last year I was still trying stuff out from college, trying to add it into my routine because it had been that long since I'd been in the starting role. But now having a full season under my belt, I feel like I have a great idea of what I need to do each day coming into the ballpark and just the preparation aspect of things.
What does it mean for the rotation to have a guy like Bueller, just kind of a veteran guy who's been there, done that, obviously won a couple World Series?
Yeah, it's awesome. Personally speaking, that's a guy that I've looked up to and admired since I was in high school. I followed his career at Vanderbilt and then into the big leagues. So it's really cool to be able to share the locker room with him, watch his bullpens and kind of pick his brain afterwards. That's something that I look forward to doing for the rest of the year.
We talked on your first call and then at Fenway Fest about the extension question. Have you made any progress since then on getting something done?
My understanding of it is, mission one was getting to camp, and then, talks would happen or not happen after that. As far as that side of things, I like to leave it to my agent. I just like to come out here and focus on playing ball.
When you look at, your situation and what you've been through in your career, is that long-term security more attractive because of the injury history and the kind of stops and starts and things like that?
There's always, pros and cons to everything. I think that the long-term security is definitely something attractive. As players, we like to look out for our family first. But with last year being my first taste of starting, part of me also wants to see what I could do with the full season of innings workload. Obviously I made every start last year. Felt like I was prepared to go the distance in the second half, but was kind of, on a short leash. So part of me wants to see what I could do in a full season before, I suppose, locking myself into a certain bracket of player.
Is there part of you that wants to see, other than 2 weeks or a fan fest, if this organization will be home, and if it feels right to you before, or?
I think that for me, as soon as I was traded to the Red Sox, that I knew that this was a place that I could see myself long term. I think that when you talk about a storied franchise like this one, it's one that any player would be lucky to call home. For whatever duration of time that may be, it's not exactly fully in my hands. But I've been seeing the big picture, as soon as the trade went through.
Other than the bumping up the innings, what kinds of things are you kind of heading into the year kind of trying to work on or improve on from last year?
Yeah, really just fine-tuning things. I'm not exactly trying to overhaul anything, whereas last year I was kind of essentially a one-pitch guy heading into camp, just figured out the cutter once spring training got going. But I was, spending essentially the whole offseason working on my sweeper and changeup. This year, since I added the cutter, it was really just, making sure that continues to be my go-to pitch. I suppose fine-tuning the sinker a little bit, but I don't expect that to be a pitch that I use at a 30% clip. I think that's just going to be kind of a show-me thing. So really it was just continuing to work on my arsenal and just make sure everything's sharp.
How hard was the second half? Your mindset knowing you're only going 4.
Yeah.
As a starter, is that hard for you knowing normally you're trying to go 6, 7? What was that like for you?
It was tough. I was under the impression that All-Star break I'd throw 70 pitches on my first start out and then build back up. So, I was looking forward to that, and then to kind of have the rug pulled out from under me was tough. And I had a couple starts where, I would go 3 strong, give up 2, run into a little bit of trouble in the fourth, and reach 65 pitches and be done. And that's not exactly a way that you want to end a start. It's also just the mindset of, giving up 2 in a 6-inning start's a pretty solid day. Maybe make it 7 innings, but having that happen in 4, it looks pretty ugly.
You said you were using things from college that you were working on. What were you referring to?
That was previous season. Just going into last spring, I hadn't started in professional baseball, so that was kind of what I was drawing on.
Garrett, that short leash last year, right? The payoff's now.
Yeah.
When you come here healthy, how does that feel, and how different does it feel
Yeah, it's exciting. I try not to, obviously I want to be a guy that throws 200 innings. I think everybody wants to, but to be that guy, you got to make it start to start. So I'm attacking it the exact same way. Last year, people were saying that I wasn't going to throw 80 innings, and I was pushing back on the training staff saying that I was going to throw 150. And I came up a little bit shy of that, but I took it as a win overall. But for me, I'm attacking it the exact same way.
Garrett, you said you've been down here for weeks, getting to know guys.
Yeah.
You mentioned Chapman. Is he giving you a ride in the truck? And has he offered to let you drive?
No, not yet. I think that I'd be a little afraid driving that.
What is it?
Garrett,
Beats me.
Garrett, when you come to a new organization, being on the inside, do you, like you mentioned Walker, Jeff, do you find yourself like waiting to see, who's going to be here, what type of guys, what traits his team will look like, things like that, as the new guy?
In terms of once we actually break camp?
Once you're part of this team, do you kind of wonder who is going to join, what's this going to be like?
I don't think I understand exactly what you mean.
Well, when you come, like you mentioned Walker, Bueller comes.
Yeah.
Do you kind of look around and say, what kind of team am I going to be on, things like that, once you join a new organization, or is that just you're on the inside and it doesn't matter?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. My job is to come in here and, be sort of a presence in the rotation and in the clubhouse and, just go about my work the right way. That's all I think about.
Walker is one of the pitchers who talked about how one of the reasons he wanted to sign here was getting to work with Andrew Bailey. What's your experience with Bailey been like so far?
Yeah, it's been great so far. We had a prior connection. My pitching coach last year and him were together, I believe, in San Fran. I may be wrong, but they were together previously. So there was already a good relationship, and an easy way to connect and just, get to know each other from that.
What's he kind of been, what's your kind of working with him been like so far in terms of what's he telling you to focus on?
Yeah, all's been good so far. I don't exactly want to reveal things that I'm working on, but yeah, all's been well.
What are some of the precautions that you guys have had to pick up recently, especially with somebody who's had Tommy John surgery or injuries pitching? What are some of the things that you've done to prevent them?
I don't think that you could ever prevent them. I think that injury is just a part of our game. I new forms of shoulder care, things like that, but I think it'd be naive to think that you can prevent injury entirely.
What advice would you have for somebody in the future who does have that surgery?
It's a long road. When I was going through it, it was, I suppose prior to Tommy John surgery, it seemed like, actually undergoing it was almost like a death sentence. Now you see guys bouncing back, and obviously myself now being at the light at the end of the tunnel, you see that you could return to play and be the same player, if not better. So that, I suppose, would be my advice. There's a lot of guys in the league that you could look to who have, continued to make a name for themselves and continue to go on and have great careers.
Is there a mental hurdle you have to get over after Tommy John, get back on a big league mound?
Yeah, a little bit. It's more of just like getting back into the mindset. When you're coming back from surgery, you're so worried about how you're feeling. You're not really worried about, getting guys out, and, you kind of lose a bit of that killer instinct. So it's really just, getting back to playing the game was a tough part. It was, all rehabilitation is, challenging, but that was the most challenging part for me.
I've heard guys say that command is the last thing to come
Yeah.
after Tommy John. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I felt very similar. I was, fooling around with my mechanics, trying to command the ball the right way, and in 23, my walk rate went up, like drastically because of it, and, then it was just, get back to playing the game the right way.
Is there something that's really surprised you about the organization since you got down here?
No, not really. It's first class. That was exactly what I expected. I've really enjoyed my time here so far.
Are you offended being referred to as a pig?
No, I like it.
Okay, good.
It's cool.
Just check.
Did you hear that Cora said that you were built like Chris Sale but stronger?
Yeah, my wife was telling me something about that. The comparisons have been drawn for several years now. I'm just trying to make a name for myself.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.